My watercolour practice helps me maintain momentum when I can't actually do my big acrylic painting. The other thing I like about it is that watercolour, because it's so easy to clean up and it doesn't get stuck in your brushes, you can just give your brushes a quick swish around and they're clean. It's really wonderful for learning about colour mixing. That's one of the things that I find is translatable. So if you look, although the material is very different, if you see how colours interact together on watercolour, you'll have a good idea as to how they will behave in acrylic. So a lot of my colour knowledge has actually come from playing with watercolour. And I feel like you can learn a lot in a quick space of time with watercolour. So it's a really great one for just mixing different colours together and seeing what happens. So another question that comes up is the way that I approach my painting is sometimes quite different to how people have been taught. And I'm a self-taught artist, so most of what I've learned is through just playing around and trying things and having a very open approach. So one of the things that I do differently, particularly with watercolour, is that I use my watercolours in a very saturated kind of way to get very bold colour. So sometimes I just squeeze it out of the tube and I use it straight onto the painting with only a little bit of water, so I get those really bold, delicious, juicy areas of colour, and then I contrast that against very sheer areas. And sometimes I start with my darkest colours, and in watercolour you often work light to dark. So yeah, there's things that I do that are a little bit different, but I think coming up with your own style and your process is all about pushing out boundaries and trying new things. So I'm all for that, and that's what I definitely encourage you to do too. So kind of that whole approach of learning the rules so that then you can break them. And lately I've been doing a lot more acrylic work. I haven't been doing as much of the watercolour, and I definitely go through phases and seasons with both. So I've got my cup of tea, and I wanted to share with you that I just got a delivery of one of my candles. And well, when I say my candles, I mean a candle that has my artwork on it in the packaging. And let me show it to you. It's this one here, super sweet little container. It's from Havana Home is the brand of candles. And oops, you can see inside there, beautiful little candle. This is the golden amber one. I wanted to show it to you because if you look at the artwork that's on it, it's quite similar to what I've been working on today. And you can see how it translates well into some kind of packaging or other, you could use it on textiles or things like that. So it's always good to see these things. It might give you some ideas. Let's get back to what I've been working on today. So these are almost dry. And I love this approach where you create little puddles and then you look for something interesting within the puddle. So I always have a look at these and see if I can find a new discovery, a new colour, a new interaction of paint. And at the moment, I'm really liking this one, which is in the browns. Even though I was trying to focus on greens, I managed to get some of those brown, warm colours that I love in there. The greens and the browns are lovely together too. I often can't just stop at watercolour. This is actually very beautiful in its own right, but I love to add little details over the top using things like paint pens, pastels, pencil. So now that this is dry, I'm going to add a few details over the top.
Everything in my world is yours. 'Cause when I met you, I met a universe.